We're live, says YouTube. Oh, man. There's the notifications. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? That seems to be the best there. Got a person in here. Juan Avalos, you are first. Good job. Good job. Good job, man. Good job. You win. You win a cup of coffee. You gotta come and get it, though. I'm not shipping it. I'm not shipping it. I'm not in the shipping business. I'm not in the freight relocation business. Oh, wait. Maybe I am. That was my CPAP mask. I put it away every day so it doesn't get all dusty and, you know, something falls on it, breaks it or whatever. Scott, what's up? Pale Rider, Wiggle Wagon, Pat. Pale Rider, how's it going, man? I haven't talked to you in a while. I should call you today. See how you doing, man. You've been kind of quiet. I think you're depressed. Still studying for the hazmat test. Ah, yeah. You know what's the hazmat test, man? You got all those numbers rolling around, and you got bulk amounts, and you know what's considered hazmat, what isn't, what kind. You know, I don't miss that at all. Hazmat used to be my thing. That's how I made my money at Landstar. Everybody else is like, I refuse to haul hazmat. I'm like, I'll do it, and it paid better. Schneider, not so much. Kevin and Ollie, what's up? Eastern European name. I can't read that. Good evening. But I'm brewing some coffee, and got plenty of time. So good. Brandon, what's up? I watched a couple of replays of some interesting live feeds. It was kind of funny. It's funny to watch all the little wars in YouTube go on. Scooter Logistics, what's up? Your name is Danil Volna. Okay. Where are you from, Danil? Pale Rider TV, I'm in West Memphis heading to Tulsa. I'll be driving most of the day. Call me later. Okay. You don't drink coffee, Ike? It's healthier than Dr. Pepper. It's definitely healthier than that Monster stuff that people drink. Yep, seems legit, right, John? That's what you got. That's what you got, man. Oh, Steve, why do you put yourself down? Oh, my gosh. You know, everybody else gives themselves cute names. Why can't I give myself my own, right? You're from Russia near a town called Arkhangelsk. I'm probably reading that way off. Dr. Pepper is easier. Dr. Pepper is easier to make. No what? I don't know how easy it is to make Dr. Pepper. But it's not easier to make in the truck. That's for sure. You can't brew your own Dr. Pepper. I've got like probably 18 hours of footage on my GoPro that I'm not willing to, not ready to sort through. The next two loads have got, like this load here is going to have a lot of sitting time, but it paid over $3 a mile, so, and it's still in a 24-hour time span, it doubles what I normally make, so you can open the bottle. Yeah, I guess I go to the vending machine here at the rest area. I see I'm in a rest area, and it's raining again. I guess they had some tornado activity near my house. last night. Some friends were talking about it. Here's your coffee. You ever pour, I poured way more water in this coffee maker than what's in the pot, so it makes you wonder where the magical place went for that water. Trucking Armageddon, wait, let me read that. Trucking Armageddon is not happening, still averaging over 2 a mile. Secret of life is $3 a day. Is there cold now? Here is no. I don't know what negative 45 Celsius is. Let's ask Google. What is negative 45 Celsius in Fahrenheit? Stupid Google. What is negative 45 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Minus 45 degrees Celsius equal minus 49 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, that's cold. Negative 49. Yeah, some of the northern parts of the states got that cold, but right now I don't think it's as bad. "19 degrees here in Reno, Ricardo. Trucking Armageddon comes and goes. The tribe will survive." 22 in Oklahoma City. So here's what I do, guys. Let me grab my briefcase here. I didn't want to do a boring trucking spot market thing, but since it's brought up, let's do something here, right? Everybody brags about, a lot of people brag about Trucking Office and Trucking Pro. I promote Trucking Pro. It's a program that I wish I had started doing from the minute I became an owner operator. But you can also use old-fashioned pen and paper. One of the first steps I made to track my numbers is I bought a planner, monthly planner. Now the monthly planner, you're going to want, what I do is I choose the ones that have the, where you can make notes, where you make appointments, right? And then that part, the monthly part, right? Okay. And so in that monthly part, I put the load number, the booked rate, my rate, the miles I drove, all miles, and then what I netted, whether I drove that day or if it was a half a day for tax reasons, for your per diem. And then I could see, and then I write down the rate per miles. And so at a glance, I can see, okay, what did I do for the month of January? How many days did I work in the month of January? And all that. And what that does is that enables me to look at the trends. And when I went from Landstar to Snyder, what I realized is that my rate per mile didn't really change that much at Snyder, what I was making at Landstar, but there were less gaps in between loads. I was able to work consistently. And when you work off of, when you get really high rates, and then make more money than you've ever made, well, you tend to stay home a little bit, right? That's kind of the trap I ran into here at Like Trucking. But anyways, I could see how many days of the month I worked. And there's one load on here that was $1 a mile, but then there's a load on here that was like $3 a mile. So you average it all out, and then at the end of the month, I average what my weekly pay was, my monthly pay was, what my average rate per mile, all miles for the whole month. And then later on, I'm entering the stuff in the Trucking Pro. And then on the note part, I mark where I parked, where I picked up, notes like what I dealt with that week, that kind of thing. And so I need to put it back in the truck, but I've got last year's book that will tell me what happened throughout 2018, when the rates started to dip and when I had trouble getting out of the house and that kind of thing. Because it's all about a law of averages. It's when you do too many loads below your average that, or your rate per mile, or your costs, that's where you run into problems. You got to find the happy medium between moving, making money, getting cash flow, but also you don't want to sit for 3 days waiting for that $3 mile load. And I think at some point all of us in the spot market have entered that trap, because I know that's what happened at Landstar. When I did my last load for Landstar, it was delivered in New Braunfels, Texas in December. I had an orientation date set up for Snyder, and so I was done. I was spent, and I looked at the load board at Landstar, and everything that was coming out of Laredo, which was still pretty decent mile deadhead, was like $1.20, $1.30 a mile before Landstar's cut. And I made a couple of phone calls, and I went home. In hindsight, I probably could have taken at least one of those loads to the house and then go home from there. But, that would have at least paid for the fuel. But I looked at it like, well, it was $200 worth of fuel. I made my money. I'm out. And that's the truth. Looking back, some of my struggles, I'm not going to call it failure, because I didn't fail. I didn't lose my truck. I didn't lose my house. And the partnership with Landstar was not a fit for me because of the false loads and calling agents all the time that never even had the loads, or them changing the rate right before you pick up the load. That kind of thing. And but there are a lot of things I could have done different that would have been a little bit better. And I think that's some of the criticism I get from people that say, oh, you failed at Landstar. No, I didn't fail at Landstar. I struggled and didn't prepare for the times that I didn't know were coming as far as the slowdown. And I know that rates have crashed there. People that used to be making $3 and $4 a mile, they're not seeing that right now over there. Yeah, I still have friends over there. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Light shows me the consistency of Snyder all 4 quarters for the last 2 years, and I saw that was a better fit. But when I came into the spot market, I knew there'd be ups and downs, but it seemed like 2018, it was down, up a little bit, down, down. And if it wasn't the rate, it was the volume. But that's because capacity was added. There was a bunch of people like me that came out in the market. Good coffee. So, but if, so I can see the trends. I can look at my monthly planners because I keep them. I don't throw them away. And it tells me how I ran. And I noticed that my best months were the months that I didn't go home a lot. And so that's the other trick. How do you find the balance between home time, freedom, but still make money? And that is an eternal struggle that I think all truck drivers, owner or company, struggle with, CPAP, what's up? Lee Lost Cause, Truck Review Channel. If you breathe, you're winning. There you go, right? Truck Review Channel, I have the impression that you've seen some really bad stuff. And I'm sure that you have a better appreciation of some of the things that we've taken for granted. I know there's a lot of things that I took for granted until I started driving a truck, like a nice warm bed, space, a small town you might live in where you don't see all the a-holes, But you're right. Every morning a person should wake up and just be full of gratitude that, number one, you woke up. Number two, you're breathing, and I've done a video. I did a video about gratitude, because if you have no gratitude, then life is miserable for you. Fact. And if you learn to appreciate the things that you have, even if you think it's not much, I think that it helps you mentally. You see some drivers out here with some really bad attitudes, and they're just miserable. And I feel sorry for them. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't get sad or I don't get depressed, but it's through struggle that you learn to be stronger. It's through struggle that and it's not like I'm struggling. I've dealt with low rates before. I've dealt with downturns in the market before. But I also had to realize that I had to apply myself a little bit too. It's just kind of the worst time of year to kind of, when the rates are really good, that's when you need to be out 20, 25 days, 30 days at a time. Because then come January, you can afford to take a week off or 2 weeks off, or you can afford to be pickier where you're not working for $1.10 a mile. I'm not saying that I do, but it's been known to happen. When you're talking to a broker or looking at a Click and Go app on a rate, you're looking at the full rate, whereas at Schneider, you're looking at your rate, like what it is to the truck. Schneider already does all the math for you. And I think that some of the lower numbers there are easier to digest because you can, it's 200 miles, you can drop the trailer real quick, So like Big Rig C was pointed out, you do the singles, 4 singles create a point, and, in a baseball game. Next thing you know, that's kind of been my approach this month, and I'm already we're only on day ahead of schedule, right? And February is a short month. But that's the volatility of the spot market. You got to deal with the ups and downs. And a lot of people aren't dealing with the downs very well right now. When I saw rates started to decline, I started looking at, what can I cut here? What can I cut there? I'll increase my running area in here. I'll take that little personal restriction away, I know CPAP has talked about doing nothing but light loads. The last 4 loads I've done have been heavy, but they make money. And where the loads are being ran, like I-70, man, that's flat. Doing a 40,000 pound load on 70 is not a big deal. I could still get way above 7 on fuel mileage with an older truck, Rider 71, Anthony T. Music trucker, aka band. I try to get within 50 miles of 15-day average, or within 50 of 15-day average. I can beat myself if I want, Rick Jones. TJ, what's up? And it's all part of the game, man. That's trucking, it's what it is. My dad was an owner operator in the 80s, and he had good months and he had bad months, and he had times when the relationship with brokers he had really paid off, and then when there was nothing, we were at the DAT board, in the truck stop, looking at the TV screen, writing down phone numbers, and he dealt with the same exact things that we do. You had fuel taxes, and fuel was cheap then, but you didn't think of it as cheap then. Truck repairs were definitely cheaper, but yet there was few and far between. There was less shops, I don't think the trucks broke down as easily back then as they do now. You could have a bad computer blip and shut your truck down now. And I think out of all the headaches of trucking, it's not the hours of service, it's not the regulations, it's the truck. You read horror stories of people pumping $20, $30, $40,000 into a truck, and it's not an engine rebuild. It's a DPF thing. A one box on a Freightliner costs $13,000. Do you have $13,000 laying around? And then that sometimes doesn't fix the problem. So, these new trucks, they're kind of scary. They're comfortable. They're very luxurious compared to what the trucks were in the 80s. But, hell, now, the same truck, it's out there that Harold has a new truck, right? When he was looking at trucks, he would send us pictures of different ones. And the same truck that I looked at 2 years ago, that was 126, is now 150. And what used to be 150 is now 180. If you want a new truck, whether it's a Volvo, a Mack, a Freightliner, that you're looking at either from 160 to 180 to 200. And that's your biggest expense. You could start a brick and mortar store with less money than it costs to buy a used truck. I can go out and I can rent a building or a space and set up shop for a record store for 3 of my truck payments. Rider 71, you broke down because of regen issues. I hear you, man. You put 28,000 in your last truck before the engine went. Yeah. John Cater, I know he's dealing with some repair issues. And I'm going to tell you what, man. The biggest thing that puts a truck driver out of business is the cost of the truck. You got stuff, beyond your control, like accidents or tickets or whatever. Well, tickets are within your control, but for the most part, think about if you have a brand new truck, and let's say it goes down a month, and you're the sole breadwinner in your house. Your family relies on that truck. And that truck goes down for a month. You got a killer warranty. Doesn't cost you a dime. However, the lost revenue and no truck payment, no trailer payment money, that can has the potential to bury you. And you don't get me wrong, used truck can do the same thing. And that's a lot of stress to put on, man. That's a lot of stress to deal with. And years of that kind of stress, like if you get a 7-year note or 6 or 7-year note on a truck, that's a lot of stress for a long time. And I don't know if I have that in me, So when I don't know if you guys remember, but here's what happened. So when my Peterbilt was breaking down, I looked at the cost. It was favorable for me to just get a new truck, or so I thought. So a friend of mine hooked me up with the Kenworth dealer in Joplin. The guy had been working for MHC for 26 years. He just retired like 6 months after I bought this truck from him. I walked in there and we found I had to get a collision mitigation system truck, which really limited my choices because I was at Snyder at the time. And at that time, they had implemented that rule. I think they're lax about it now. But at that time, they were like, you have to have this collision mitigation system. Well, at that time, it's more common now, but at that time, you really didn't find owner-op spec trucks with collision mitigation systems. They were usually fleet spec trucks. Like any of you that have driven a Schneider spec truck, you know what I'm talking about. Bare bones, like, no table, no fridge, no bells and whistles, no doors on the cabinets, that kind of thing, right? And I looked at a truck. It was $126,000, FET included. And I got $10,000 for my trade-in with the Peterbilt, and I was approved for that truck, but then they wanted another $10,000 cash down. So they wanted $20,000 down. So essentially that would have made it $105,000 truck. And I had this, I remember the date, he told me I'll have an answer for you on Friday. Or no, Thursday. And I went to bed Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I wake up at 3 in the morning with this anxiety. I'm going to pay 6 years on a truck at like close to, it's like $2,800 a month or something like that. But it was the 6-year commitment that was really freaking me out. I'm going to be 51 years old when that truck's paid off. If I get that far. At that time, I was worried about my health, and still am, but I'm doing better on the health thing. And when the dealer called me and needed that extra 10 grand down, which I didn't have, I was like, well, let's look at the used stuff. And normally when you get a phone call saying, well, you're SOL if you don't have enough money, you get disappointed. And I tell you what, man, this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. And it was obvious that internally I was not comfortable getting a new truck, because I don't believe in being a slave to the truck. That's why I never went with Schneider Finance. I did call them, I talked to them, had a conversation, and Jeff ran the numbers for me, and he made it sound doable, and it was. There are people out there making it with the Schneider Finance truck. But what if? You got to have the what ifs. What if something happens to one of my kids? I had a kid go in the hospital recently. What if, I was home for that, thankfully. But yet there are people that criticize that I've been home too much. But I was glad I was home for that, Or, last year in March, I had my accident where, I hurt my leg. $3,000 truck nut for 6 years. 6 years is a long time, guys. I don't know if you guys realize that. Look at your life 6 years ago. How much crap has happened to you? this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, and then I found two 680s, 2014. One was purple, one was green. Called the dealer up and said, hey, what about this one? You know, and he was like, okay. Next day he called me and goes, it's yours. You're good to go. No money down. Except for your trade-in, of course. And then he told me that if I do two years of payments on this truck, I would have enough equity in the truck that I can go to back to MHC and I could trade this in, no money down, for a new truck. I have no desire to do so. I like this truck. Now, tomorrow, if I have a $20,000 repair bill, maybe then, you know. But for now, if that happened, I would probably just get another 200,000 or 300,000 mile truck, put an extended warranty on it, and roll on. I take pride in my ride. It'd be kind of cool to have a cool truck. I like my truck. I'm grateful for my truck, but at the same time, I'm not going to be a slave to it. And in a sense, I still am. You know, if you're an owner-operator, you're a slave to that truck, no matter if it's paid off or not, you know. But how much of a slave are you? Debt is the currency of slaves, I think is what Dave Ramsey has said. And, you know, with paid off vehicles, a little bit of time to be flexible with the family and enjoy what's really important in life. You know, what good is having all this cool stuff if you can't enjoy it? I know guys that have a lot of cool stuff, but they're never home to enjoy it. And that's sad to me. You know, hell, I got guitars at home that I never play that I've probably spent too much money on. And I feel bad for that. Because when I am home, I'm not dealing with the guitar. You know, like that live feed with the guitar, that was like the last time. That was the first time in a long time that I've even picked it up. Ryan, what's up? T680, notorious for this because everyone I've been in seems to have this issue, question mark. Engine's going to be 18500 rebuild. There's a 19 International LT I was looking at that had the built-in EPU inverter fridge. Comes, that's 145K. "15 years of driving, it's almost impossible to balance out home time, freedom, and making money." So yes, you're exactly right, Steve. If you have a solution, let us know, because I can't find one. I hear you. Next Gen, what's up? "I can help remove the risk of loss of revenue from breakdown. I'm expanding like Jeff, but only going to have an ownership team of 7 owners. No money needed. Down, full maintenance lease." BNS Logistics, that intrigues me because, you know, Daniel Adami, he's in the spot market now. You know, if he's in here, maybe he'll say something. But subscribe to his channel, even though he hasn't done a YouTube video in like 15 years. He's on a full maintenance lease, and I think that you know, Jeff has talked great about full maintenance leases, and there's a bit of truth to that. There's a bit of, you know, where if that check engine light comes on, you're not worried about the cost. You could sit there and say warranty will do the same thing, but what a lot of people don't know about warranties is that they, like, if they see, like, if you're having constant DPF issues, right, and they see your idle time is like sky high, they're less likely to cover it, even though it's under warranty. You know, like the one box in a Freightliner, and this was explained to me at Schneider because they did a whole thing about it, is not covered under warranty. However, it's usually another component that is under warranty that causes that failure, so therefore the warranty pays for it. But what if it doesn't? You know what I mean? What if that particular shop's judgment is against you? You know, if you have you ever tried taking a tire back for a warranty issue? It's almost impossible to get your money back. Whereas a full maintenance lease, if it's broke, it's broke, you know. So BNS, you know, you're the first person I've seen to kind of step up on the full maintenance lease to deal with the cost of the truck. And it's genius, you know. Less risk involved with leasing. Hey Jeff, what's up? Dennis Smith, fix and pay his SFI truck off another 3 or 3.5 years. And those of you with high lease payments right now, you might try going to your bank and seeing if they'll loan you the money to pay off that truck so it's not in the leaser's name, it's in your name. I believe that's what Christian Trucker did. He got his SFI truck refinanced. Boom, it's his now, and his payments became considerably less. So he can afford to put money aside for the breakdowns, you know, stuff like that. And that's the key. You can buy a new truck, but the key is to keep your payments low to where when, I didn't say if, but when, you know, because it used to be if and when. Now it's just when a breakdown occurs, you've got the money set aside for downtime and for whatever repair that you might actually have to pay for. So if you go out and buy a new truck and put $50,000 down on it, you know, or $60,000 down, well, now your payments are going to be low, or you can make them high and just have it paid off earlier. That's kind of what Spectre was talking about with this trailer. You know, you can be aggressive on payments. You know, if you make your payments low and you're aggressive with them, you know, doubling up on the payments, then you pay off the equipment sooner. That was my original plan with the trailer, but that hasn't happened. Not the way I was running. Thank you, Asian My Show. I appreciate that. That's part of my mantra. Health, wealth, and happiness. Very cool, very cool. Truck for Life, what's up? If it got really bad, would you consider going back to a company and start over, or would you hang it all up? Anthony T, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, there's only one company I would go to, but you know, there's a reason why I became an owner op. I probably would look, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. Because, you know, the 9-to-5 thing just doesn't work for me. I don't have any other skills other than welding, and manufacturing sucks, you know. It just, you know, you always got the axe looming over your head of layoffs and everything else. You know, the place where I used to weld at, they laid off all their welders and then went to like Penmac, and all the welders that were at that company were at Penmac, and now they're making half of what they were making before with no benefits. And that's common in the manufacturing industry. That's why a lot of people you know, there's a lot of people out here that hate driving trucks, that are driving trucks because it's the only way that they can make money, because they used to have good jobs, they used to have pensions, they used to have all this stuff that's been taken away from them. And you can't, like, I can't just like stop driving a truck and go work at, you know, McDonald's or whatever. You know, that's always the joke. Well, I can make more money working at McDonald's. Yeah, but working at McDonald's would be kind of hell for me, you know? And, you know, it's, you know, those are the things, that's the reality of the situation. Truck breakdowns can take you out. I had to do a parked regen for the first time ever in this truck for 2 years. It scared the crap out of me. Well, I'm not sure what the KW calls it. I know that the new Cummins, they've kind of simplified that system. And I believe that the new Volvo has a setup to where you can idle the truck and it doesn't hurt it. You know, that's the thing with these new trucks, you can't idle them. Or yearly, pick your truck new, email me at bandlogistics@yahoo. I pay $700 a week in loaner breakdown. Huh. I'm pretty happy here at Like Trucking, but you know that's good for anybody else reading that comment. Spooby talked to Daniel Adami about WFX. He was there for a little bit. Jeff says too much risk at leasing out trucks for a fleet under 20. The risk falls when several drivers leave and those trucks are sitting, the payments don't stop, and the lower truck fleets will lose money. That's true. Hey Walt, what's up? It's like all my Periscope peeps are in here. I have rentals, 700 a week, no commitment, new trucks with rider. New Cummins is called the Stage 5, I think. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine with an engineering background. He said the new Cummins were, you know, the DPF stuff is an issue with the majority. And, you know, it's funny, you get on Facebook and these guys are like, oh, just delete, just delete, just delete. It's not that easy just to delete something. I talked to Escargot the other day. I haven't mentioned it because I haven't put up that vlog. But if you follow Escargot on YouTube, I met him in Oklahoma, and he's got the same truck I do. You know, and we were talking. He gave me a pen. You know, he's a cool dude. He's a smart dude. Moving his operation out of California, so that's good. He's invested in multiple trailers. That's where the money's at, man. Investing in trailers. You know, there's a guy at Landstar that will lease you or sell you a trailer, like lease to own. And I almost did that. You know, because you can make a higher percentage at Landstar with your own trailer. At that time, math is easy. If you get a trailer and put your extra 7% that you got from Landstar, because you go from 65 to 72, then you take that extra 7% and you put it all towards the trailer. So you're not missing the revenue for the truck. And once that trailer's paid off, boom, there's your extra money. So it was an easy way to get that trailer. The only thing you couldn't do was dropping hooks. Tyler's in the house. The delete is awesome. This is not to recruit like guys, but for SFI ICs like me that Jeff could not take on. Okay. Oh, cool, Jeff. Josh Shayer is sleepy. But yeah, man. That's it. We're just having coffee. Boring, idiotic coffee. Ramblings. Speaking of Landstar, Tim Gorley is doing pretty good. Just bought himself a 2019 Camaro. You know, you got people priming trucking Armageddon, right? Yet Harold went out there and bought a new truck. Tim Gorley has bought or leasing multiple trailers and a new Camaro. So what do they see that's different? Why is their perception different? Tim Gorley's been in the game a while. Jeff has said, you know, that it's just normal. And this load's paying over $3 a mile that I'm on now. So is that the norm? No. But it's definitely going to help the bottom line. It's definitely helping me achieve my goals faster. Getting your coffee on too, Orion? Yeah, Harold's truck is nice. He's got the swivel seat. You know, there's... Harold just tried to call me. Gosh. Roscoe and Harold have swivel seats. I'm jealous. And I think what it is whoever had this truck put aftermarket seats in here. And so they took out the swivel platform. Because I think Berger has the same truck I do. And I think he has a swivel seat. But at least I got the table. Oh, hey, check this out. Let me do a product endorsement here that I'm not getting paid for. I bought one of these stupid things, right? Well, not stupid. They're pretty handy. I have this old ice scraper, right? This thing is crusty. And it had a squeegee on it. And that's really good for mirrors and windows, right? But that thing is, I think that thing is like 20 years old. And I saw an ad for this. And it's kind of trucker relief fund. So the money goes to a good cause. So this is about $14. Squeegee your mirrors. And all it is, if you go to Bed Bath & Beyond, you can buy bathroom squeegees, and that's pretty much all it is. And that's a little bit curved for your smaller mirrors. But it benefits the St. Christopher Fund. It's called Trucker Stick. Simple design, someone's making money off of it. Gotta love it. You gotta love capitalism. I think I bit off more than I can chew today. Orion, if you're chewing your coffee, you did it wrong. Jeff says, Snow Alert, I'm helping dispatch if any of the guys need help in slower periods. That's what we do here. What are my goals? My goals, I have a whole list of them. You know, basically just to build, you know. You know, just to stay consistent. I think that's my goal this year. No swivel seats here, Scott? Yeah. Well, Juan, he did a whole video about his truck. Brent in Florida, what's up? Divorce attorney, man, that's sad, dude. Someone might need some more sponsored cooking pans. Well, you know, I believe Harold's going to enter the lunchbox cooker world there, Jeff. So he might need some too. Oh, okay, you're talking about rezoning. All right, Ryan, good luck to you. Subway today? Subway never. Your goals have changed as of yesterday, Tyler? Steve, how long do you foresee yourself staying in trucking? That's a good question, John. That's a good question. I think that's what makes us scary. I don't know. The original goal was to build this business and then create another business. You know, you kind of want different, you know, diversify, you know. And I think that original plan has gone out the window. I would like to be owning a business, but a brick and mortar business. You know, originally it was going to be a bar and grill, but I don't know if that's doable or not. And a lot of people tell me that that's a failed plan. But if I can have a brick and mortar business on the side and still deal with the trucking stuff, I think that'd be cool. I think it would be a gradual exit, you know, investments, you know, partnering up with a brick and mortar business there in Springfield. That's a goal. You know, there are times when I contemplate getting my own authority and then putting on multiple trucks, but that I don't know. Seeing what Jeff deals with, I don't know if that's in my cards or not. I'm not in a hurry to go out and get my own authority. And there are people that will say it's not a good move, and there are people that say it's the best thing that you could have done. I know when Jeff got his own authority, he said he wished he'd done it 10 years before. and he's figuring out how to streamline it. I'm still figuring out how to run this. So that's fifth wheel grease on my hand from somewhere. You ever notice fifth wheel grease just gets everywhere? Probably came from that crusty. I need to throw that away. There we go. What are your goals, Tyler? Why did they change so suddenly? All Amish. 7 streams of income. There you go. Lunchbox Cooker Wars. Let's do it. Jeff can be our Gordon Ramsay. There you go. Kevin and Ollie's got some lunchbox cooking skills as well. There you go, Kevin. That's a good idea. A profitable chain restaurant bar is definitely doable. Yeah, Tyler, but there's a person in this chat, I won't say who it is if he doesn't want to mention it, that used to own multiple Subways. And he's in the truck now. You know, so it's I think it just depends on location, where you live, I mean, what you're serving. You know, if you go to Springfield and you want to open a Chinese restaurant or a Mexican restaurant or a pizza place, you've got a lot of competition, you know? And then the American fare, like Denny's and that kind of stuff, they've got all that in the bag. Then you got all the trendy, you know, hip places like TGIF and Cheddar's and, you know, Applebee's, you know, and Springfield is just loaded with restaurants, which is why I don't think it's you know, I could run a good restaurant. I really could. I've learned from some of the best people. However, you know, and I used to be in that industry, but too much competition. I mean, that's why the rates are lower now, because there's more competition out here, you know? I agree with you, Wanby. I learned the other day to use the white silicone spray and PB blaster on the moving parts. Save $4K a month for the next 3 years. Good deal. Liquor is more profitable. I've heard that. Liquor stores, you can make a killing. Pawn shops as well. Hall Amish, 150, 1 mile, 250 for a day. So like your Rider 71, you're gonna be like an Amish Uber. Is that what you're doing? Add music and a low cover charge and a mix of live bands, and you're in business. Well, I think clientele has a big part of it too. You know, I know a lot of bar owners that have failed, and there's a bar right down the street from my house. I would love that. That's like the perfect place, you know, for me, as far as like owning it. You know, I don't even drink anymore. I stopped drinking like during the fall last year. You know, that's, you know, ever since this weight loss journey, man, I've had no desire for alcohol. Call it cheers. There's I want to say it's the airport in Nashville has a Cheers themed bar. I've been in there. It was back in 1997 though. That's how old. Yeah, you live in the heart of Amish country. Businesses are good, and their population doubles every 20 years. Well, you know what's funny is I live like just 50 miles from Springfield. There's a whole Amish community, actually, that surrounds the Springfield area. Whereas, you know, Pennsylvania, you know, they have the other, I don't know where any other Amish populations are. It's either Pennsylvania or Missouri, Southwest Missouri. You deliver fridge parts to the Amish, says Josh. That's not true. You silly. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this live feed up. It's going to be like 2 hours long. It's going to be a James Best marathoner. Ohio. Oh yeah, Ohio. Yeah, there you go. Natas. If you do a restaurant, don't do a chain. Too much control, micromanage to your own thing, and it has to be different than what's out there. Right. And Scott, it's hard to be different now. You know, there's a restaurant in Springfield called Casper's, and it's in one of those old airplane hangars. You know, the buildings that just look like that. And they're known for their chili, and they're only open 6 months out of the year. And it's small in there, right? It's a small airplane hangar, and they make just enough money. It's very uniquely decorated, like bizarre stuff, right? And you might go in there, you might have to sit at a booth with a stranger, but it packs every time they're open. And they work pretty much Monday through Friday, 12 to 3 or 12 to 4, something like that. And 6 months out of the year, I'm like, do you know if Applebee's is going to be around in 20 years? But I know cats that bank with 15 passenger vans, and even better if you have a trailer. Wow. You put Amish in the trailer? Casper's chili is disgusting. I've never had. Well, no, I take it back. I think I have had it. That was a long time ago. It wasn't that bad, James. Jeez. Snowlord's Death Metal Pub and Grill. I would love to do that. There's some out there, but I think I might get 3 customers a day. And it'd be the same 3 dudes, the same 3 drunks. That would be cool. That's a unique name too, Jeff. But I don't have an exit plan for trucking. I really don't. I mean, maybe if like trucking expands so much that Jeff needs people to help him out, that might be something. But that's still not out of the truck completely. Trailer for groceries. Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were putting the Amish in the trailer. The Amish, man, they've had a lot of an increased rate of deaths on the highway, especially on US 60 west of Springfield, or east of Springfield, I'm sorry. And I remember my GPS took me down this road there in Missouri. It was a shortcut to go from 60 to 44. And it was a truck legal route, but it was like, there was no shoulder. And I did 20 miles an hour, so I would not, and there was blind turns. It freaked me out because I didn't want to just suddenly come up on a buggy, And it was not a place for a truck. So it's like, I'll drive the extra 20 miles to get from 60 to 44, without the shortcut. You would hang out my bar, John? Houston? Exit to the highway in the sky. There you go. Yeah, I know, Jeff. I know. What's your opinion on the slow roll protest? Well, the slow roll protests are better than shutting the highway down. I think it was Ike that did some footage of the one that happened in Dallas, and it didn't look like they were going that slow, to be honest with you. Truckers have been upset for years. Okay. And you go back and look up documentaries from the 70s and 80s. They were griping about the same things back then as they do now. So there's this eternal struggle, right? That's never going to get solved. And the slow roll protests are better than blocking the highway and flipping the camera off. So it's a step up. But I mean, look at the movie Convoy. Convoy, as comical as parts of the movie are, there's a whole section in there where the reporters talking on the CB radio with all the drivers in the convoy, and if you listen and turn on the closed caption, you will hear what they're talking about. And it's the same issues that we've dealt with today. And one of the big issues back then in the late 70s was the 55 mile per hour speed limit, you know? And so when you had high speed limits that go to 55, it hurt a lot of revenue for truck drivers, because now they're either getting tickets or they're driving slower, making less money. You know, and back then it was more important for you to be able to go coast to coast in record time, because that's how you were paid. You know, so that was an issue. There was a lot of the same issues, you know, and so in today's world it'd be governing the truck, or, you know, shutting down certain highways. Like, you know, Georgia had that thing that they were trying to pass a bill that unless you're delivering, you need to be on the interstate, you know, which was unrealistic. I don't think that thing passed, or it was shut down pretty quickly, you know. But they dealt with tolls, they dealt with fuel taxes, they dealt with the government regulations, they dealt with excessive ticket writing and the DOT and all that. So it's the same eternal struggle that we've always had. And what a lot of the mega carriers have done and what a lot of the big brokerages have done is they've learned to adapt to the current situation where those situations don't affect them as much. And the trucking industry has adapted a lot better than what it could back then, but the issues are still the same, and they're never going to get resolved. I'm not saying that it's not worth it to protest, but what I noticed though is like, okay, let's everybody shut down in April, right? Well, April is when the rates are going to go back up. So if you've been struggling, and that's why you're going to protest, because you're struggling with fuel prices, you're struggling with regulations, you're struggling with the loss of revenue you've acquired, well, joining a slow roll where you're burning fuel or shutting down at a peak time of the year for trucking, I don't know if that's showing the answer, you know? I'm willing to burn money to show you that I'm not making enough money because of the regulations and all that. And the true enemy of trucking is not the government. It's government, I guess, implemented too. But, and I probably sound like an idiot to some of you guys right now, and that's fine. These are just my opinions, but I applaud what they're doing. And I hope that it can amount to something. What that something will be, I don't know if we'll ever see it. And, you know, so as long as they're not shutting down highways, you can't shut down the country. You're holding the country hostage. Jake Cannell's done videos on that subject. If my kid needs medicine and he can't get, you know, that truck can't get through because the highway shut down, that does not create public sympathy. It doesn't. And that's what you have to do. You have to create public sympathy. Look at the military. When the military came back from Vietnam, they weren't praised. No one said thank you for your service. You know, no one did any of that. And so there was this paradigm shift of how we viewed the military that occurred, you know, throughout the 80s and 90s. And now you could see a military service person now in a store and you say thank you for your service. You know, we're more sympathetic to their needs now than we were back in the 70s and early 80s. And how we got there was through education, public education, you know, putting things to light, you know, telling the public, hey, it's not easy to be a military service personnel. It's not easy if you've been in a war. It's not easy if you've been in a conflict. And so if you want the support from the government knows what they do. But if you get the public on your side, that's the key. So good publicity, You know, look at what the NFL does. You know, the NFL has a lot of negative elements to it, you know. And so what does the NFL do? They push the people that do all the charity work. They push the people that do all the grants and the, you know, all that stuff to get sympathy for these football players that may not have done well with their life after the game, you know, and creating public sympathy, that's the key to success if you want to change the mind of something. You know, and a lot of people still view truck drivers as we're in your way on the way to work. We're the slob throwing urine bottles and trash out in the parking lot, or tearing up your parking lot because, you know, you took out their pole or a tree or an island, you know, in the Walmart, or, you know, we're tailgating you to push you out of the way so you can get out of our way in the highway. Those are the things that will not create sympathy for the truck driver, you know. So the more that you're rude, the more that you show a negative image, that is what is hurting. Where I delivered to in Duncan, Oklahoma, they got this private road that you can park on. It's just an empty field, you know. It's nice and peaceful out there, but you go out there and there's pee bottles all over the ground, and there's trash where people have swept out the trailer on the side of the road, you know. And if you really want sympathy from the public, you got to be positive in the public eye. Shutting down a highway, you know, is not the answer to that. You want the public on your side, so therefore you have to tap into their sympathies, and then you can get something done. Because if the public is behind it and they bother their congressman about certain things, you know, that's where you get, it's, you know, power in numbers, you know, and I think that's an impossible task, because as Convoy also demonstrated, and I witnessed that as a kid, truck drivers are looked down upon. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, they were classified like bikers, you know, like now you can't classify a quote-unquote biker, you know, like Hell's Angels, stuff like that. You know, and that's how truck drivers were viewed back then. They were viewed as outlaws, you know, and a lot of them were, you know, don't get me wrong. There's a guy who used to own a bike shop in Springfield, Missouri, and he had tons of outlaw stories. No permits, going down non-truck friendly roads, avoiding the cops, running from the cops, you know, like Smoking the Bandit style stuff, you know. And so, and you know, like, look at Walmart drivers. They have to wear their shirt, you know, they wear a uniform, and their trucks are clean, and they present a positive image to the trucking industry, you know, and act professional. And to be honest, man, there's a lot of people that don't do that. It's Jeff. Yep. All right, Rider 71. They did minimum legal speed, had police escorts. That's the way to do it, Scott. That's the way to do it. Twin Truckers, what's up? I'm classified as the person who will come to your house and eat your food. Yeah, Food Mooch, or knocking on your door at, you know, I'm glad Food Mooch is a day cab guy now, because that means the roads are safer, as far as like it's safer in the truck stop to not get knocked on. The door knocked on, you know. Speaking of knocking on doors, I had a gal at 3 a.m. knock on my door there in Chakotah, Oklahoma. Drove up to my truck needing gas money. I watched her. Like, she just knocked on my door, and I just happened to have the light on. You know, I was up at 3 a.m. for some stupid reason. And she knocked on my door, asked for gas money, and then she kind of circled the lot, and then took off really fast out of there. I'm I'm like, okay. Three-M cookie sales are down. Nope, no one's tried to sell me cookies lately, so that's good. Because I won't eat them. They're not keto. But didn't they do a slow roll in Illinois too? She didn't have cookies, no. And nor would I want cookies from this person. Let's just say if she was selling cookies, it wouldn't have been good cookies. That's all I'm saying. But anything else you guys want to talk about? If not, I shall end this live feed. I'm taking over for Roscoe. Roscoe finally went home, so it's up to me to do the marathon since Harold for like trucking. Actually, I need to catch up on some paperwork and stuff here. Agent Orange, you just got here? Well, dude, been on here for an hour and 13 minutes. Hell, I got people in here that hasn't talked to me in a long time in here. You want to talk about vegetables and meat. What do you want to know about vegetables and meat? Draco, Death Touch. There were some rough storms last night. Did you have any tornado warnings there in Springfield? All right, Scott, I'll call you later. Hey, Scott, later. No, I'll call you. This phone won't feed the live chat. You needed your beauty sleep? I'm still working on that, man. What's the best sandwich you ever had? I can answer that, Josh. I can answer that. So at the time I was like, I want to say like 12 or 13 years old. I was with my dad in the truck. And 13-year-old boy has an enormous appetite, you know, and I was hungry. And my dad's like, there's this excellent it wasn't even a restaurant, it was a convenience store, deli type thing. They got the best sandwiches. I'm going to buy you one sandwich. And of course, at the time, you know, I'm eating 3 sandwiches, you know, as a kid, right? And we stopped in this place, and I want to say it was there by Six Flags in St. Louis. My dad got fuel, and he bought me a sandwich. And this thing was just huge, you know. And that was probably the best sandwich I ever ate. It was awesome. And I don't think that place is there anymore. Congrats on joining the Under 300 Club. Thank you very much. I'm down to 295. I know my last official YouTube weigh-in was 297. So I'm averaging about 2 pounds a week. Here's something that's going to blow your guys' mind. It's easier for me to lose weight on the road. I'll let you soak that up for a second and think about that for a minute. It has been easier to lose weight on the road. Because a low-carb lifestyle combined with intermittent fasting, which means eating once or twice a day within an 8-hour window, is the best way, in my opinion, to lose weight. And that's been what's been successful for me. It is easier to do that 8-hour once or twice eating window when I'm in the truck. When you're dealing with brokers and looking at loads and looking at load boards and scanning receipts and doing all the owner operator bullcrap you got to do, you forget to eat. I literally forgot to eat until I got parked the other day. I forgot. I wasn't hungry. I'm like, oh, I should eat, so I put in MyFitnessPal, and next thing you know, I've only eaten like 500 to 700 calories, and I was stuffed, But at home, now, Scott says, too many temptations at home, got the wife and daughters on it now. I can't quite get the household on board, but the foods that are in the house don't tempt me. It's the intermittent fasting. I want to eat breakfast with the family. I want to eat lunch with the family. I want to eat dinner with the family. So I'm eating more frequently at home. Even it's the same food as I eat on the road, but the intermittent fasting goes out the window. Now, I have done a couple of 24-hour fasts at home. They're a bit more challenging there, but it's easy to do in the truck. And so for those of you that say that it's hard to lose weight on the road, I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that says it's impossible to lose weight on the road. But if you look around, not everybody on the road's overweight. So there's something wrong with that logic, right? And I am proof that it can be easy on the road, because I have an easier time staying on track on the road than I do at home. They've watched me lose 65 pounds. Great motivation for them. Yep. And I think I'm almost there. I think they're seeing my numbers. I know my wife's lost a little bit of weight. My youngest daughter, she's not overweight at all. But yeah, it's harder at home. What about RVT, Josh? When have you known me to ever talk good or bad about RVT? I do this weird thing that if a channel doesn't interest me, I don't watch it. Nothing against RVT, but I just don't watch it. Just like that. There's a couple other channels that are big, but I don't watch them. Pick another topic, Josh. RVT thing is beaten to death. Scott was 270 when he started, weighed in at 211 last week. That is awesome. See, I'm hoping just to get to 270. I feel a lot better now since I've lost weight at 225 now. I started at 285. There you go. Do I like Frog Leap Studios? Yes. Can't watch everybody. Right, Agent Orange. My notifications tab on my YouTube is constantly filled. There's a lot of people that I follow that if you post too many videos, which I've been known to do, you get lost in the shuffle, and so when you got 20 of your subs, going live 3 times a day, or they're putting out 3 or 4, like Dr. Berg is a perfect example of that. He'll put out 3 or 4 or 5 videos a day, and it's all good information, but there's a lot of things I miss because I've got all these notifications, and it's hard to differentiate the different videos a lot of times. And so I try not to do that. I try, but here I am live for the third day in a row, I think. Went from 2XL to large. Man, if I could fit in 2XL shirts again, that would rule. This is a 4X and it's swimming on me. And I can fit in 3Xs now. Next Gen and I were talking about that. And Next Gen, he commented earlier, I don't know if he's still in here, but he's kind of the true trigger of me kind of the mindset that changed. Him and Little Viking Coach, believe it or not, those two are the ones that really said, you know what, Next Gen is proof that you can lose weight on the road. And when I hung out with him, he was in Springfield, him and his girlfriend were in Springfield. Took him to Walmart, and he basically educated me on a lot of this stuff. And he's not like keto crazy. He's not doing this. There's really no other explanation for it. You know, and you got a lot of people trying to capitalize on that word, on that name. So I try not to use it too much. But if you hashtag keto transformation on Instagram, look at the transformations, man. The proof is in the pudding. But yeah, Next Gen and Little Viking Coach, man. Little Viking Coach has done a lot of positive videos about it. Let's get warm. Sorry for the rattle. That's probably annoying. But you can lose weight out here. The struggle is real, but it's a doable struggle. You'll get there. There's nothing wrong with short-term goals. If I stay on the course of 2 pounds a week, which is easy, I'll get there. I've already noticed my legs are thinner, my arms are thinner. Your hands get fat. Did you know that? Did your hands get fat? Like, if you notice, I don't have a wedding ring on. You know why? Because it wouldn't fit on my finger. And here's the other transformation, okay? People are treating me a little bit different. That is a fact. When you are overweight, people assume the worst in you. You get less ladies smiling at you. You get less people being friendlier with you if you are friendly with you if you are overweight. That is a fact. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me that when I first started driving, my company put me in a Volvo, right? And all the super truckers they get irritated, they make fun of you. Oh, it's a Volvo, all this stuff. I'm like, and here I am, like, completely naive to it all, right? And my company put me in a Peterbilt for just like a month and a half. People waved at you. People gave you space at the truck stop. People were more respectful of you simply because of the truck I drove. And then when I went back to a Volvo, guess what? Back to being made fun of, back to being pointed at and ridiculed. Now, when I went to Snyder, same thing happened. You pull an orange trailer, people don't give you respect. Fact. People won't let you over when you need to get out in the left lane to pass somebody. Even though I'm not governed, even though I wasn't a company truck. And losing weight, I've seen the same thing. The same thing. People are more respectful in public. People are more willing to open the door. They don't look at you funny when you're ordering food, Well, I mean, people look at me funny anyways, but you know, but less so. What do you eat over 3 days? What do I eat over 3 days? Okay, I'll show you. So I have cooked bacon. I have hard-boiled eggs, which put salt on them. They taste like rubber. For snacks, I have cheese sticks. Don't eat too much cheese. That hurts your butt. All right. And then I have this spring mix. I'll put this on a layer plate, and then I'll heat up some either pre-cooked hamburger patties or like here, I'll show you this stuff, which, you know, there's not a whole lot of good ingredients in that, but it's better than nothing. And then these Walmart steamable vegetables, and then guacamole, a lot of guacamole, because avocados are good for you, but they're a pain in the ass to deal with in the truck. I eat avocados at home, and and this avocado is pretty good. This guacamole, you gotta look at the ingredients, because there's some fake guacamole out there, and this is literally avocado, tomato, onion, sea salt, jalapeno peppers, garlic, dehydrated cilantro, dehydrated jalapeno pepper, cilantro, essential oil. That's it. So perfectly natural. Good stuff here. And liverwurst or Braunschweiger, whatever you call it. That's organ meat, and that's good for you. So that's essentially what I eat. In a pinch, I'll do Subway salad. And the breakfast buffet is really good. Get it to go, load up a plate, throw it in the fridge, heat it up later. That's what I did yesterday, I believe. And that was the only meal I ate. The buffet is your friend. Wait, Steve, did you just say that it's easier to lose weight and the buffet is your friend in the same live feed? Did you just say that? No wonder you titled this Coffee with an Idiot, right? No wonder. Steve, that's bizarre. Now I'm talking to myself, right? You look at the buffet, you get it to go, and you load up on meat and vegetables and the salad. And then you leave. Costs you half as much as you would if you were sitting in the restaurant. You won't be tempted to overeat, which when you're doing what I'm doing, it's hard to overeat because your stomach is small. And it's easy to pick the meat and vegetables, you know, and then they're not trying to sell you, you know, potatoes and bread as sides and all that. I mean, they're on the buffet, of course, but you just don't get them. You know, the vegetables are usually steamed. The meat is usually baked. You know, they'll have pot roast, or they'll even have like hamburger patties, you know. Same thing with the breakfast buffet. You get the egg, sausage, bacon, get some foliage, you know, from the salad bar, and you're good to go. So yeah, the buffet can be your friend. And you get it to go, and it costs you, you know, so that's good in a pinch. Chicken jerky. I don't recommend doing this too often, but hot dogs are good in a pinch with no bun. You know, the boiled eggs, you can buy the boiled eggs at the truck stops now. I think Pilot and Love's, they sell the pepperoni and cheese in a cup, you know. And you're like, well, Steve, that stuff's more expensive than getting, you know, 2 McDoubles at McDonald's, right? But when you eat like I do, you actually have less of a food bill because you're eating less. So therefore you can afford the higher quality stuff. Not saying that hot dogs are higher quality stuff, but spending $7 on a chef salad versus $2 on, you know, or $4 on, you know, 2 McDoubles, you know, it's, you know, it's doable out here. That's the beauty of a low carb keto diet, is that you can go to any fast food chain and get what you just avoid certain foods. You know, I can go to Wendy's and get a triple cheeseburger with no bun, don't get fries, and get a side salad. We're good to go, you know, and that will fill me up. That will make me like feel like I just had Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, Scott, that's what happened to me. I tried to take my ring off. It was an effort, and then I'm like, well, I'm not putting that back on until I lose some of this weight. Kevin says, after my gastric bypass dropped 200 pounds, I had to have my wedding band sized down. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Whose health plan is a bad idea? Josh. Yes, I do watch Thomas DeLure on YouTube. They should do a parody commercial. What do you use to the what? I kind of use it like a side. I top it on the vegetables. And then the other good thing, check this out, guys. I learned this from Trucker Woody, actually. There's this stuff called ghee, right? And what it is, it's clarified butter, sodium and gluten-free. You know what the good part about this stuff is? No refrigeration necessary. And it's butter. Tastes like butter, acts like butter, and you're good to go. That's Jeff sending me low board stuff. RBT has been on straight keto for years. He's going to have a deficiency. You know who else has been keto for over 7 years? Tim Tebow. Last I looked, he's a pretty physically fit dude. Look, man, keto's like anything else. If you're not getting your vitamins or whatever, your minerals, I mean, Dr. Berg preaches that, you know. You got to balance everything out. You can't just eat bacon and hamburgers and call it keto and think that that's healthy. I think that's the misconception. You know, you saw my salad greens. You know, I've got 5 bags of steamable vegetables, canned spinach, you know, in here. I got non-perishables in here, like salmon, you know, stuff like that. You can even be keto vegetarian if you absolutely wanted to. The Rock is keto. Yeah. You know, if you go to our Zello group, man, there's a lot of guys in there that have lost weight doing the keto thing. And you know, and basically the basics of it is you eat meat and vegetables, keep up with your vitamins and minerals, drink a lot of water, and you're good to go. You know, and you'll lose weight if you avoid bread. Okay, so let's make this easier. Okay, let's say that the word keto freaks you out because it's a buzzword, it's trendy, people that you don't like are doing it, right? but you want to lose weight. The simplest way to do that, and I'm not kidding, I am a perfect example of that. You see the results, guys. You see me in my vlogs. Okay? The other day when I was doing the guitar thing, my guitar used to stick out, you know? I felt like a tub of lard, you know, of the guitar sticking out, you know? And that was the first time I've lost, I think that was the first time I picked up a guitar like 30 pounds ago, you know? The easiest, best way to lose weight, if you want to kickstart it right now, avoid bread, processed flour and sugar, fried potatoes, sugary soft drinks. You will lose weight in a month. That's a lot of soda. Anything corn or starch based, processed flour and processed sugar, those are your enemies. If you order a triple cheeseburger at Wendy's, it is not the burgers that is the enemy, it is the bread. I know that's hard to grasp. That's not what we've been taught since school. That's not what they've been teaching since the 50s. Think about this. In the 50s, and if you've watched The Magic Pill on Netflix, you know what I'm talking about. In the 50s, they came out with the food pyramid. Has that food pyramid, has that helped us? We're the most unhealthy nation in the world. Bread, grains, flour, sugar, those are your enemies. Oh, what about cholesterol, Steve? You can't be eating bacon. You know, you got to worry about your cholesterol, right? Go back to my video catalog and see my blood numbers. That's what clogs the arteries. That's what causes overweight. That insulin reaction is caused by, did you know that eating a piece of bread is the same as drinking a sugary drink? Did you know that eating a flour tortilla is the same as eating a donut? Did you know that? Don't believe me? Look at the carbs. Look at the nutritional information. One cinnamon roll has more carbs than I eat in 2 days. You avoid carbs, processed carbs. You know, you still want carbs from vegetables. You can still do some fruit. So you can still get your vitamins. But if you avoid bread and sugar and potato, guess what? And rice, that's another one. And I miss rice. I do miss rice. You'll lose weight. Stop drinking soda, you'll lose weight. Is that easier said than done? Yes. Well, why is that? Why is it hard to stop drinking soda? Think about that for a second. Why is it hard to stop drinking soda? Why is that? If you talk to a meth user, it's hard for them to stop using meth, right? You call them an addict, right? We all know the challenges of quitting smoking. Well, it's been determined that cigarette companies put addictive qualities in cigarettes. Not just the nicotine, but in other stuff, right? So if you have the 400-pound person in the Walmart go-kart with a basket full of soda and Twinkies and sugary stuff, what do? You look at that person as an addict. If it's hard to give up sugar, there's a reason. It's addictive. And when you enter a weight loss goal, you know, a situation, you are literally fighting physical and mental addiction. That's why it's so hard to lose weight. That's why it's so hard to give up soda or sweet tea or juice, because it is sugar. And sugar is addictive. It is just as addictive as cocaine, is just as addictive as meth, as heroin. And studies have proven that. And if you don't believe the scientists, look around you. Look around you. You ever been to a Golden Corral on a Friday night? Look at that dessert bar, man. Look at, and we're, and it just, it's the dessert bar. You got people literally going nuts, knocking people over to get to the cotton candy, to get to the pies, to get to the cakes, And if you avoid those foods, which is doable, it's easier to do than you think, then guess what? You're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel healthier. If you have a lot of inflammation, guess what? It goes away when you get rid of the carbs. It goes away when you get rid of the water weight that the carbs soak up. It goes away when you're not having this huge insulin spike after you've eaten, a value meal at Burger King. Your joints stop hurting. Your shoes fit better. You can go on longer walks. You can stand up and play guitar for more than an hour. We used to have band practice be about 2 hours. Within an hour, I'm sitting down. If there was a song I wasn't singing, I was sitting down while playing the guitar. Do you know how humiliating to myself that is? That I can't even stand up for band practice? And I changed it. I changed what I ate. And guess what? I could stand up and play guitar now. I can get in and out of the trailer without falling down. I can get in and out of the truck without pain. I can sit in booths instead of tables at a restaurant. I could actually sit in the booth at Waffle House now. When I had dinner or breakfast with Daniel Adami, it's all booths, right? In Waffle House, unless you sit at the counter. And I was able to fit in it. 6 months ago when we did the same thing, I could barely fit in it. And I tell you what, guys, there is not a greater feeling than being 60 pounds down. And the feeling is immense. That's better than any sugar addiction. That's better than any soda. That's better than any cake or pie or biscuit. It's better than any of that. To be able to walk and be without pain and not worry about keeling over in a heart attack. What good's having a 6-year truck note if you're not going to live to see the end of it? There are people literally killing themselves out here slowly with food. I was one of them. And then once the physical change happens, the mental part becomes easier. It gets easier. I don't think about sweets. I don't crave sweets. I don't go by Dunkin' Donuts and go, oh, I miss that so much, because I am fully convinced that sugar is poison. It's addictive and it's poison, just like cigarettes, just like meth, just like, alcohol. And you see the difference. You've seen the difference in my channel. You've seen the difference on how I act. I've got more mental clarity. I've got more motivation to get stuff done. My attitude about little things like driving down the road. People come. How's the canned salmon? I buy the pouches, Kevin. I know I'm probably way behind on can. This is what I get. And it's pretty good. I do have a can of salmon at home that my mom got me from Alaska when she went on an Alaskan cruise. Oh man, is the ice storm bad in Tulsa there, Anthony? Am I still using any condiments like ketchup, mustard? Ketchup, no. But I do use a lot of this. Stone ground mustard. I love this stuff. And yes, I do have a cooler and a fridge in here. Caffeine is a drug, right? It was hard stopping soda, especially Mountain Dew. The headaches were hard to deal with. Yep. Whatever happened to a good workout plan? Well, Josh, let me educate you something on you something. When you're 380 pounds, walking can be dangerous. I'm a perfect example of that. When I fell down, when I slipped on the pavement, that was 380 pounds falling on the pavement. I could not get up. And it took 2 people to get me back up. Best workout you can do if you're that overweight is swimming. And I love to swim. But last I checked, swimming pools don't exist in the truck stop world. I'm not about to get a hotel room once a week just to get a pool. You know, now, I do walk. You know, I do need to start lifting weights and stuff to get my arms, you know, muscle back strengthened. But workout, I've got a family member that does 5Ks several times a year. Okay? And that person is still overweight. She trains for these, she walks every day, you know, and she's still overweight. The best thing you can do to lose weight is what goes in your mouth first. And then once you lose a considerable amount of weight, then it's easier to go on walks. It doesn't put impacts on your joints. Then you can work out. Then you can implement a workout plan. I was so fat, and I still am, that riding a bike, I used to love riding bikes. That was my passion at one point. I was a BMXer to the hilt. And I can't even ride a 19-inch, or not 19, a 28-inch bike without my back hurting, my gut hurting. When you're pedaling, it bumps up against your stomach, you know. So when you're 400 pounds, it's extremely uncomfortable to work out. So you have to change what you eat first. Decrease the amount of calories, put in higher quality calories, and then you could get to the workout point. And, you know, think about these people on that My 600 Pound Life show. They can't even get out of bed. So how do they get them to lose enough weight to get to the surgery? By what they eat. And you are literally seeing a lot of addiction there. You know, and a lot of enabling too. You know, when you're 600 pounds and you're bedridden, someone's bringing you food, you know. For Super Bowl, we had pizza, chips, dip, ice cream, all keto. Only took in 15 carbs all night and I ate a lot. There you go. Lost 30 pounds in 6 months because cutting out sodas and feel better. Been soda free for over a year now. Kaislyn, what's up? Right, Agent Orange. Eat that salmon with the white rice. Yeah, they're forecasting more icy weather next couple of days and temps in the 20s. Nothing witty. I made a pan of brownies last night. They were delicious. I regret nothing. You're 300 and can kick as high as a black. Well, that's cool. Imagine how well he can kick if you were 200 pounds. I hate being 300 pounds. You can't even lay down comfortably. You can't even sleep comfortably when you're over 300 pounds. And so it's that hatred of sugar, hatred of feeling like crap that keeps me from eating the good stuff or the fun stuff, you know. And there are keto friendly recipes where you can, like Scott talked about, you know, pizza, ice cream, you know, there are substitutes for that stuff. And you know, they're out there. Are they more expensive? Yeah, but they're meant as treats, you know. But anyways, I think I'm gonna end this live feed now. Now we'll go to 2 hours. God, I can't believe I just said that. And then we'll end this. So if there's something else you guys want to talk about, tell me to shut up. Tell me I'm an idiot. Do the whole 9 yards. Tell me what I need to hear. Do I do keto coffee? No. I do heavy whipping cream in the coffee, and that's it. And that keeps me from being hungry. I don't do that. Like Woody had he had like 8 things that he puts in his coffee, and I'm like, you know, here's the other thing. Keep it simple. If you keep it simple, it's easy. If it's easy, you do it. That's basic law of nature. If it's easy, you'll do it. Kaislyn. I want to congratulate Kaislyn for his new job. He decided to go into retirement, I think before the holidays. And now he's coming out of retirement to join back with us in the trucking industry. So I would like to congratulate Kaislyn on his re-entry to the trucking industry. And I'm sure that his contributions will be positive and influential. So everybody give props to Kaislyn. Kaislyn's kind of like our whipping post on Zello. I remember a certain guy making a parody of people who do live feeds. I wonder what happened. I had another parody in mind, but I don't know. Everybody gets all butthurt here lately, so I kind of did away with it. $700 adds up. Yep. Well, Roscoe does these marathon live feeds, so I figured I'd do this one. Never realized how 2 months sitting on the couch can affect you. When I was on the road, I'd walk around a lot when stopped and stayed active. Since I came home, I've become lazy and I can feel it. Yeah, that's going to be hard to get back on the road, ain't it, Anthony? Math is hard, Vaquero. Math is hard. All right, let's end this live feed, guys. This is enough. Steve, enough. This is annoying. You're not smart. You don't know what you're talking about. Congrats on the weight loss. Yay, you got coffee. Now shut up, right? Thanks for watching, guys. If you're out there in the ice, which I think Southwest Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas City area, I believe, might be seeing some ice. You need to be safe. Be careful if you're heading into snow. If you are in temperatures below 10 degrees, idle the dang truck. Especially if you have too much southern fuel. If you're in the south and enjoying the weather, enjoy the weather. Hopefully the rates aren't killing you. And, thanks for watching. I try to be positive on this channel. And, I am seriously thinking of becoming a truck driver. I've also switched to a keto lifestyle. One of my big concerns is continuing losing weight. Can you prepare food, even cooking in a truck? Yes, you can. I've got a friend of mine that cooks all of his food at home. and then he vacuum seals it, and then he puts it in the freezer that he has in the truck, and then he thaws it out when it's dinner time. You can have microwaves. You got lunchbox cookers that are 12 volts. So if your company doesn't put you in a truck with an inverter, you can use a 12 volt cooker. The key thing will be being able to go to Walmart. But if not, keto in a pinch. It's not healthy keto, but you can still do meats without buns, sandwiches without buns, Subway salads. Just watch the dressings. I know a lot of people that went keto and then lost weight when they got on the road. They weren't truck drivers before. They were heavy. They became truck drivers, went keto, boom, they lost weight. So yes, it is doable there, Randy. Does coffee keep your body driving? I don't know. Oh, your metabolism. I've heard it's good for the metabolism, but you don't want to drink too much coffee. It can be bad for you. Kevin, what's up? I haven't seen you in a minute. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. The struggle is real when it comes to the diet. The struggle is real when it comes to trucking regulations in the private sector that overcharge us for everything. So you got to run your business smart, and you got to keep up the good fight. You got to have that passion. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Trucking is not easy, but keto is. So just keep that in mind. And, it could be done. And thanks for having my coffee with me. See you.